What did brands in India look like in the 19th and 20th century? Now, this was the time of British colonization, and at the time, cotton and cloth was a huge commodity. The way that we buy ready-made clothes now just didn't exist at the time, so people would buy yardages of cloth to then get stitched into whatever they wanted. And so after industrialization, what Britain was doing is taking cotton from its colonies like America and India, taking it back to their mills in Britain, making cloth out of it, and then selling it back to the people in the colonies. This might ring a bell with the Swadeshi movement, but more on that later. So it was on these yardages of cloths that people were buying that there were labels or tickets which depicted the brand. So Map Museum has a collection of hundreds of these labels that are so vibrant and beautiful and contain so much history in them. So let's take a look at them. Now, mainly there were Indian labels here, but you also see labels that were sent around the world. So depending on which country and people this was being sold to, the labels had a certain type of art style, colors, and visuals that the people related to of that country. Some labels also had different languages or multiple languages on them, which gives us an idea of where these fabrics were traveling to. But yeah, the biggest collection in Maps exhibit were Indian labels, and just look at how vibrant and vivid and diverse they are. And don't all the designs of this look so quintessentially Indian? So how did they come up with these designs? Well, what British label makers did is that they took famous Indian paintings, pictures, religious figures, mythological stories, and turned them into label designs. Because remember, the point of these labels is to be relatable and recognizable to customers so that they're buying your products and build a certain kind of brand loyalty and recognition. But out of all the collections, what I found really interesting is how women were depicted in these labels. Because these labels weren't just random art, right? They reflected the culture, the tastes, the gender roles, society at large at the time. So you see women here performing traditional gender roles, indoors, taking care of children, doing household chores. But you also see a certain sense of progress because there are women depicted outdoors, playing games, playing instruments, frolicking. And then, as you know, the Swadeshi movement came in where Indians wanted to reject imported goods from the British and be self-reliant. So Indian label makers took over the designs, and you can see how they depicted nationalism and Indian pride through the visuals of their labels. But it wasn't just Indian label makers. British label makers were doing this as well because they knew what was selling at the time. So yeah, beyond the visual, there's so much history behind these things. Brands don't exist in isolation. They're a reflection of people's taste, society, culture, gender roles, national movements, and politics. And so if you're in Bangalore, you should 100% check out this collection by Map Museum. I also want to give a special shout out to Shrey, who's a curator behind this exhibit. I had a chance to talk to her, and she's just so passionate about art history and Indian history, and really wants people to learn about this in an accessible, easy, and fun way. So if you get the chance, check out the Ticket Tikka Chap exhibit at Map Museum.